to share his thoughts.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm really, really happy to see so many people in this room because as life is getting busier each day in metropolitan cities like Mumbai and bigger cities, it's harder and harder for people to keep up with martial arts and making it a part of their daily life. So it's really good to see all of you here. And second reason why I'm really happy is because I get to share the stage with my own guru, Sensei Parvez Mistry, with whom I have been connected for many, many years now. He's seen me practically grow from the age of 13 to until now. So a lot of my fitness base started off at his dojo at the age of 13. And moving on to the topic that's given to me today, which is the physical aspects of martial arts. So the definition of martial arts is sort of impossible to put in words. So if I had to put it in words, according to me, it would be the art that was formed because, the art that was formed by a group of like-minded people in order to achieve a common goal, which was self-defense. And most of the martial arts began in order to fight foreign invasions. Whether it be karate in Japan or whether Indian martial arts, they all began for a common goal of fighting foreign invasion. And so that was the purpose. Martial arts is not limited to punching and kicking only. There are two concepts of martial arts, physical and spiritual. And I believe that in order to achieve the spiritual aspect of martial arts, a person has to be involved in martial arts consistently for years and years. They cannot just be involved like briefly and experience the spiritual aspects. But the physical aspects can be experienced by a beginner and by a senior, depending on their own levels at that seniority. So let's see one of the the few commonly practiced martial arts that I have noticed that were common in India when I was here and when I was abroad. So number one was karate because I was attached to it. The origin came from China, which moved to Japan. And then the literal translation is empty hand combat. Right? Taekwondo origin Korea, and the literal meaning in Korean is the way of the foot and the fist. So they specifically mentioned foot first and then fist. And that's what I think is because there were more kicks involved or more lower body work involved as compared to the upper body. Jiu-Jitsu, again, the origin came from Japan, which moved to Brazil, then they created Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And again, the name translated literally into the gentle art. Okay. Krav Maga from Israel, which literally means contact combat. And Kung Fu, which originated originally from India, as you guys may know or may not know. The enlightened soul, Bodhidharma, shifted from South India to China and taught the people there how to defend themselves against foreign invasion or the atrocities conducted on them. And that too literally means supreme skill from hard work in Chinese. Now what I'm trying to say here is that when you look at the literal translations of different martial arts, it's very, very, very physical in nature. It's mostly only for combat. But there is a deeper meaning involved to it and not just combat. And since we are from India, we are Indians, हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, तो सालों से, बहुत सालों से, हज़ारों सालों से हम martial arts से घिरे हुए हैं. और मैं आपकी तरफ से I'll try to make you guess which martial arts are these. So आप मुझे guess करके बोल सकते हैं कि कौन सा martial art है. Many of you might know this. Any idea? Kalaripayat. And origin? Kerala. And I think karate has roots from Kalaripayat. Right? Number two. Anybody? Yes, Sky. And sorry? This is Sky. And the origin? Ancient Kashmir, yes. True. This again involves short swords, small shields, hand-to-hand combat. Okay. This one? Yes, Silambam. And this is from Tamil Nadu. This one, very easy. Gatka. Origin? Punjab, yes. This one? Yes, another name for it? Mardani Khel. That's what I knew about it. Mardani Khel. This is from Maharashtra. So this one was a part of India for the longest time, but then it kept declining. But under Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's rule, this came up again. But unfortunately, now it's only translated into like a roadside drama for presentations. It's dying out. But there's still a dojo in Kolhapur that trains people for free. So that's one. This one? It's not really a martial art, but it is a way of archery that's been practiced in one of the regions in India. That is in Himachal Pradesh, and that's called Thoda. And that they practice once a year. So there's an event, a grand event, where people dance, and from far away the person aims at their foot. But not literally, they don't shoot them literally, but it's just for aiming. This one? Yes. And origin? Yes, Manipur. So my point is that we as Indians have been surrounded by martial arts for years and years. So it's literally in our blood. Okay, moving on to the physical aspects of martial arts, literally, it was very important for you to see the pictures and be a little interactive, because all the martial arts are very physical in nature. At the end, you protect yourself. Number one. So by mistake, I've put the most important point to number third. So I'll begin with the third point first. The third point is, if you want to be a good martial artist, you have to be willing to learn, first thing. Be willing to learn, drop your ego, and accept your master as it is. You will always have the freedom to question the master, but at the same time, you have to drop your ego, you have to let go of everything, and you have to follow the path. Number two, correct breathing. Without correct breathing, you are not going to be able to deliver a punch or a kick or even do a kata, or even just in normal daily life. If you're not going to breathe well, you're not going to live well. So that's one prerequisite that's required for a good martial artist. Anybody can start martial arts at any level. Kabhi bhi start kar sakte hai. Lekin as you move on and on in martial arts, you have to make sure that you are good with these points. Correct breathing, which actually translates to literally to daily life, because I've seen so many people busy with their lives in front of the laptops. They literally forget to breathe well. And I have a few clients that I have seen. I just noticed them for 5 minutes. In that short span of 5 minutes, they don't even take a proper breath. And suddenly they would just do, and they just don't know that. So at least when you're breathing well while practicing martial arts, you are doing it well with full awareness, and in daily life you can translate that. Number two, posture is very important. With a hunched posture, with a bad posture, you cannot perform martial arts well. You have to have a good posture. Number three, I already said, technique rather than completion is one thing that I learned in the dojo, that whatever you learn, you practice it well and do not rush through it. Each and every technique is important. Mere completion of the technique just by speed is not the way you achieve your expertise. Neuromuscular coordination, that is very important. Biomechanically or physiologically, your brain and your muscles work in a synchronized manner. And this, over time and again, there have been research studies published in motor learning that say that over and over time, with a lot of repetitions of the same movement in a correct manner, not in an incorrect manner, you can achieve the most neuromuscular coordination. So for example, I'll give you an example of this. So nothing against gym goers, even I use the gym, not a problem. But if you complement your martial arts training with traditional weight training, it goes hand in hand. The reason why is because when you are doing specific katas and your sensei corrects you and asks you to feel a particular muscle while doing certain actions, you know that you're connected to that muscle and that muscle is being worked. So for example, in Sanchin, in this pose, if you have to tighten your biceps, your triceps, your lats, everything, you know that you're tightening them. So establishing that connection with the muscles is very important. And just three or 4 years ago, a study got published that said that people who want to achieve hypertrophic gains in muscle mass, so people who want to increase muscle mass, the people who imagine using the correct muscle while performing the movement have better chances of gaining muscle mass. So while doing a bicep curl, if you're going to imagine in your mind that you are using the biceps while doing it, it's going to benefit you more. They had significantly more muscle mass gain. So, and at the same time, if you go to the gym and you get stronger, it's actually going to complement your martial arts training. Your punches are going to be stronger, you're going to be more powerful, you're going to have more muscular endurance, everything. Pillars of fitness. So pillars of fitness are many. Number one, muscular endurance. So repeated movements without being extremely exhausted and being able to recover well from continuous blows or kicks or just moving around. Muscular endurance. Cardiovascular endurance. Muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance are different. For example, so basically martial arts is nothing but it's an army of people. It's an army of people, an army of warriors, and warriors have to be ready for anything. Even if you have to run for 2-3 kilometers, you should be doing it without any problem. And that helps with martial arts training. Muscular strength, for example, you have to pick up your opponent and throw them. You require some form of strength. So that's there. And flexibility. I want to make sure I don't miss out any points. Flexibility, yes. Flexibility. If you aren't flexible, if you don't perform your stretches regularly, you're not going to be able to kick well, block yourself well, and just going to be injured over time. So flexibility is really important. Agility, the ability to move faster from here to there, is really important as well in martial arts. While swinging from one side to the other, you require a lot of agility. Quick reaction, recovery, and nutrition. So quick recovery, so quick reaction time, that's another essential component that a martial artist requires. And that comes time and again only with practice. So training is the key to everything, and training under correct guidance, not just without any guidance, doing it by yourself. After a certain level you can do it by yourself, but initially you require a lot of cueing from your instructor. And last is nutrition. So nutrition is one thing that is going to complement everything. If you're not going to eat well, अगर आप अच्छे से खाएंगे नहीं, तो जो आप ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं, that will not benefit you completely. To begin with, just the number of calories you put in your food. If you're not going to have enough calories to sustain your workouts, how are you going to recover from it? If you're not going to have enough carbohydrate, protein, fat, all the three macronutrients required, how are you going to recover from it? Even neuromuscular coordination has shown to be higher with people who have sufficient protein intake. Just by having enough protein, your neuromuscular coordination improves, your muscle mass increases, at least you don't atrophy, at least you're maintaining it. And last but not least is personal effort and research. So apart from training in the dojo, you need to do your own research as well as to what works for you, what doesn't, what kind of workouts work for you in the gym, what doesn't. And because no two people are same, that's why we are known as individuals. Because what might work for somebody else might not work for you. So you need to search for your own thing. And you need to research about your martial art, your teacher, where it originated from, the history, the geography, everything. So these are the points that make up a good martial artist according to me. And next I'll explain the process, the physical working aspects of martial arts. So how the body perceives threat and how it reacts. So we all have sensory organs, like we see, we hear, we smell, we touch. So we sense danger through our eyes usually and through our ears, and the message is gone directly to the brain, and through the nervous system it sends a message out to the working muscles. And now this is going to be a little more, actually quite more easy for a person who has trained well in the dojo. So I always remember Sensei telling us that you train in the dojo like you train outside, and you fight outside like you train in the dojo. So there is a balance that's kept there, and so that you don't get too stressed out in the situation because you're already ready for it. So you perceive threat through your senses. You signal, the signal is passed from the brain to the working muscles via the nervous system, and a quick reaction is performed depending on the training or the martial art you've learned over time. And the sympathetic nervous system is activated. That is nothing but the fight or flight method that's used by anyone. वो situation में आपकी sympathetic nervous system activate होती है, जिससे आप या तो वहाँ से भाग जाएंगे या तो आप लड़ेंगे. It literally means that. So that is activated. Due to that, the body completely changes its way of working. More blood is gushed towards the working muscles. Your digestion slows down. Your urine production and the fecal production slows down because you can't go to piss when you're fighting. You know, it's just common knowledge. And digestion slows down. All the blood is gushed towards the working muscles. Your heart rate goes up. You become more agile and you become more alert. Now there is an arousal effect that might hamper this thing. There is an inverted U-curve theory where you need to have the perfect amount of arousal through stress. Only then you perform well, wherever, even in sports or in martial arts or wherever real life situation. If you get too aroused by the stress, then your performance might go down and you might just freeze. But if you have the right amount of arousal, then you're going to perform well because you exactly know, you perceive, you don't get stressed out, you're ready for everything, and your training is right. Yeah? Okay, let's move on to specific benefits according to age groups. So children and youth from the age 6 to 18. That's just the general age format that I'm saying. Number one, anger management. So I'll give my example. Mera example मैं दूंगा. I began karate actually a little earlier than I joined Sensei's dojo, but under not such a good teacher. So I did not get guided as to where my anger should go. What happened is that I was put into karate because I was beating children in school. And I was beating them bad. So my mother put me into karate dojo. But there I learned how to hit properly, so I hit them more. So nobody taught me in the beginning. So a good martial artist or a teacher will always tell you to establish peace first. Peace is very essential. So then, of course, my mother pulled me out of the dojo. And then after a few years, I joined Sensei Mistri's dojo, where I learned to first stay calm and avoid fights as much as possible. The very first week when I was training, I think very first week or month, I got kicked badly by one of my seniors in the dojo. Not in a way to injure me, but just in a way to remind me that you should keep your shikodachi low. And that day I realized that it hurts to beat someone, because I got beaten that day. Okay. Another thing, childhood obesity. These two things go hand in hand with me. They went hand in hand with me. I used to be a very obese kid. At the age of 12, I was 98 kilos. And then I lost some weight and I joined the dojo. It quickly, without changing my food or diet too much, it quickly helped me lose a lot of fat, and I felt good about myself. So this thing, childhood obesity has been a big issue right now in this world, especially in India. It's growing. It's already there a lot in the US and the Western countries, but here it's very alarming. So that is causing a lot of depression in kids. They are not accepted socially by other children, and so that's the reason. If you make sure that your kid enjoys martial arts, they're going to combat these things. Anger management. So there's something called neural plasticity in the brain that is maximum during adolescence, like until about the age of 13 to 17 to 18. It's maximum. And that's the time when your brain cells are trying to reorganize themselves. So if the martial art, if the kid is channelized properly in martial arts, they can really form a strong base. And not just at that time, but throughout life. Because martial arts is not just in the dojo, it's a way of life. Stimulating hunger in some children. So many children, parents complain they don't eat well, they're very thin. Many a times they don't enjoy working out or anything, but if they enjoy martial arts, it can stimulate hunger because they burn so many calories. They also vent out their energy, they enjoy the things, they learn something, and that helps with stimulating hunger. Exam stress is another thing. If the child can handle stress of performing well in the dojo, in the gradings, I think they can handle this very well. This was another example that I went through myself. So it's very important that children benefit from martial arts and they have a correct teacher. And leading a healthy life begins from a very young age. Habits are formed at a very young age. So if a child is forming a healthy habit, by the time they are 18, they will stick to it. But if a person is forming good habits after the age of 18, it's a little tough. It requires a lot of effort because when you're children, you're just doing things by itself and it just sets in your synchrony. Depression and bullying. So I was a bully because I got taunted for my weight. So that's another thing. And okay, adults, ages 18 to 55. Number one, in today's world, stress management is really important, and martial arts is a combination of good meditation along with knowing yourself, along with a lot of physical practice that can help reduce a lot of stress. Overall health, nowadays people in their 30s and 40s are being diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes and high cholesterol levels because of their lifestyle changes and lifestyle problems. So martial arts can really help you out with that. Instead of being addicted to cigarettes and alcohol or drug abuse, it's better to be addicted to something that benefits you. So the runner's high that you might have heard that you get while running, if you were getting a high by doing martial arts, you might as well do it every day, rather than choosing something else. Aesthetics, just looking good. I know this is not a reason to join martial arts, but some people join martial arts to just look good in the sense like they'll lose weight, they'll look a little muscular because there's a lot of resistance training also that's incorporated in normal martial arts. So that's going to help you. Over time, you'll become more spiritual, that's a different thing. But that can be. And it's a byproduct. So only if you have correct nutrition, then you're going to achieve it. Without correct nutrition, you're not going to achieve it. Building self-image, work productivity, so that's what India requires. We are one of the most working population booming age. And as and when our population gets fitter, we'll have more work productivity. And sound sleep. A lot of people are not getting more than 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, because they're not getting tired enough, I feel. And they don't have a way to channelize their energy somewhere. So you can benefit from sound sleep. Another reason is self-defense as well, very important in today's world where crimes are increasing against women and men and overall. Self-defense is extremely important for everybody to learn, just for their own benefit. Wherever you go, doesn't have to be in India, at least if you have learned a martial art, you have the confidence of standing in front of the bully or a person who's trying to intimidate you. The aging adult. Overall health, for aging adults above the age of 60, martial arts is really important. Studies have shown that only little bit of resistance training for an elderly adult who hasn't been trained for a long time shows 90 to 95% of improvement. Extreme improvement. Functional capability, so your day-to-day life activities जो आप रोज काम करते हैं, at an older age, some people find it really hard to even do the day-to-day chores. So one of my clients, so when I was in the States, one of my clients, his goal was to improve his functional capability so he could go play with his grandchildren. So goals differ. And martial arts helps with that. So you are working in different planes of movements all the time. You're ready to achieve any sort of action, bend here, bend there, be flexible. Okay, bone density is another issue that you lose over time, and even muscle mass. So sarcopenia is the next thing. Age-related muscle loss. If you cannot increase muscle mass, at least you will be able to maintain it with proper nutrition and training. Bone density decreases, because of which falls happen. Falls are very common with the elderly population, and if you know how to break a fall, or at least if you're strong enough to not fall, it's only going to benefit the elderly adult. Brain health, extremely important. This is for everybody. If you indulge in any sort of physical activity, there are two arteries that go to the brain, and they actually hydrate the brain, literally. And they keep the flesh healthy, and that's why your memory improves, your focus improves, even everything, overall work productivity improves. One thing I forgot to tell about children and martial arts is that there's something called ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, which is there in many kids. They can't really focus on one thing at a time. They're always fidgeting, not paying attention, and parents complain about that. Martial arts has shown to reduce that significantly. So if the child is practicing martial arts continuously, or over time, that reduces quite a lot. Elderly depression. Depression is increasing in the elderly population a lot because of loneliness. As time passes by, children separate out, relatives isolate themselves. So what helps is that it forms like a sense of community. In the sense, like, if you don't have anybody at home, if you are really depressed, by the same time you can come back to the dojo, train with your seniors, your juniors, and your partners. That's the best thing that can happen at an elderly age. You have a social circle as well. Uninterrupted sleep, that's another benefit, and self-defense. With that, I'd like to conclude my talk, and if you have any questions, we can address them during the panel. So thank you so much.